Grand Rising, everybody. This is the morning tea. This is a daily source of upliftment and inspiration. And my name is Damon K. Jones. And today, this Resurrection Sunday, not Easter Sunday. We don't fall for the bunny. Um, we don't fall for the bunny, right? We talk about the resurrection because we all need resurrection in one way or another. But today, this Resurrection Sunday morning, the morning tea, we're going to talk about how do we, or I'm sorry, the importance of praying for divine connections and also how prayer works to remove spiritual vampires or people that are toxic in our lives. We all have encountered toxic people. If you live on this earth, or if you lived on this earth long enough, you will encounter toxic people, whether they're coworkers, whether they're friends, family. We all encounter toxic people. But I'm going to say every morning, I start off with my prayers, 10 minutes of yoga and meditating, and I drink my tea. And this is why I decided to call it the morning tea, because sometimes I sit just right here in my kitchen and I just drink my tea and I think about things. So I said, well, I might as well start doing videos about it. The things that cross my mind. And but I want to let y'all know. You say, well, brother Damon, what's in the tea, man? So in the tea, I got nettle, peppermint, green tea, dandelion root, tulsi basil, milk, thistle, turmeric, burdock root, and sea moss. This is some powerful tea. This is why I start running my mouth early in the morning, right? Because I got good tea going in my system. As people of faith, we have to be mindful of the people that we surround ourselves with. Not everybody that's around us is good for us, right? Whether your coworkers or even your family members, and then sometimes even a relationship that you're in, the people are not good for your spirituality and your spiritual journey. That's why it's important to pray to God to bring the right people into our lives. People who will support and encourage and uplift and give you affirmations and challenge your growth in faith and growth in as a person is what we all need in our lives. Now, whether we understand it or not, but the scriptures, the Bible itself, it has a lot to say about the importance of having godly relationships. In Proverbs 21:17, we read, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And First Thessalonians, Paul says, therefore, encourage one another to build each other up, just in fact you are doing. So those are the people that we want, especially black men. When we talking iron sharpens iron, it takes a good man to sharpen a young man to create him into a good man, not a toxic brother, not a brother that's not on his dean, right? So we want those people around us, and it's also important for those type of people to be around our children. So I remember a point in my life where I was like spiritually stuck, and I prayed, And I said, look, I need some direction. And sooner or later, I met this brother. I started watching him online. And lo and behold, God put him in my life and we became good friends. Actually became good friends. And he's my big brother, man. And he has helped me a lot in growing spiritually in who I am. Right. And that's my brother RC Blakes. I love him to death. That's my big brother. And we communicate and we talk. Not a lot because he's a busy man, but still, the whole thing is he took time out of his life to talk to me and have conversations with me. And that's very important. You want people that's going to set an example, that's going to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. A lot of us talk the talk and we don't walk the walk. Once you get around a brother, you say, man, this brother don't walk the walk. He talk the talk, but he don't walk the walk. We got to be around people that talk the talk and walk the walk. But what about having relationships that are not positive? Ones that drain you emotionally and mentally and spiritually, right? The scripture has a solution for that too, right? In Corinthians, it's 1 Corinthians 15:33. Paul writes, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. And in Proverbs 13:20, it reads, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffer harm. See, a lot of us hang around with fools and bad company. And then we wonder why our lives are not living up to our expectations because it's who we around. I tell my son all the time, I said, you evaluate your friendships. If those people are doing the same thing today that they were doing 10 years ago, you got to get away. And there's an old saying, right? If if you are around three rich people, 9 times out of 10, you're going to become rich too. If you're around three fools, 9 times out of 10, you're going to become a fool too. So it's important to be around people that's going to uplift you. But our most important relationship is the relationship with the Most High. James 4:8 says, come near God and he will come near you. And as we draw closer to our spirituality, we will be guided into good relationships with other people. So, what is the practical applications that we need to do? First, we have to make a commitment to pray. Ain't nobody telling you to be on your prayer rug for 30 minutes. A lot of us make excuses for not praying. A lot of us, our egos are so high that to get down on your knees is a humbling experience. See, you have to be humble to get down on your knees and actually submit to something you can't see. A lot of us is not humble enough. A lot of us ain't humble to get on our knees. When you get in that prayer position, you are being humbled before the Most High. See, a lot of us believe in who we are in the community or who we are at work. We actually believe in those false titles that they give us to make us work harder at work. And the pay that they give us don't even match the stress that goes along with the title. See, a lot of us believe in that means something. It means nothing. At the end of the day, it means nothing. Once you retire from your job, all those titles and all the seniority, all that ends up meaning nothing. It just means nothing. So the greatest thing we could do is humble ourselves before God, because we get continuous blessings through our lives. So we ask God to bring people into our life who will encourage and challenge us in being a better person and in our faith. That's not that's not a hard thing to do. It is hard if you have a big ego. And what else we have to do? We have to be willing to evaluate our current relationships and consider if the relationships that we have presently are holding us back in our growth, even in our spiritual growth. This is not always easy, but it's important for our growth and well-being to evaluate our current relationships. A lot of us are in relationships, and I'm not saying like, boyfriend, girlfriend, uh, husband and wife relationships. I'm just saying general relationships with people that are not good for our growth. They might be fun. You go to Sunday brunch, you hang out, but are those people good for your spiritual growth, your growth of character, and your growth of understanding of yourself? Are those people good for that? We sometimes we have to sit back and we have to evaluate that. And that goes into prayer to put out that type of frequency that you will attract people in your life that will help you grow and love to others, right? As we close, finally, we have to always extend grace and love to others. Even when we disagree, we have to extend grace and love. So as I close, because I don't want to keep anyone long this morning, I want to encourage us to add prayer in our lives. And I also want to encourage us to pray for divine connections and pray for the removal of spiritual vampires, the removal of those people that tap your spirit. And there are people out there that claim they're your friend, but they tap you of your spirit. And sometimes you don't even realize that. But because you don't pray, or we don't pray enough, we're never going to realize that, right? Because spiritual vampires is real. There are a lot of Debbie Downers that are out here. And to combat the Debbie Downers, you have to pray, because then that's going to give you the insight. And not only pray, like we have to, like prayer is part of it, but we also have to exercise. We also have to try our hardest to put good foods in our body that will feed our spiritual energy. See, it's hard to have positive spiritual energy if you're not feeding your body the fuel to ignite that energy. It's hard to have it, brothers and sisters. It's hard to do it. So that's part of it too. Like we really have to look into all that. If you're eating a whole bunch of McDonald's and processed food, you are actually dulling your spiritual frequency. That's right. You're dulling your spiritual frequency when you eat bad food. So you know, let's take this morning, this Resurrection Sunday, and first thing we do is pray. Some of us pick up our cell phone and see how many likes we got on Instagram and Facebook and seeing what's happening on LinkedIn before we get on our knees and humble ourselves before the Most High and thank Him for opening up our eyes for another day. I mean, that's real talk. This is the morning tea, and we're just trying to keep it 100. So on this morning, if you watch this and you finish, find a nice quiet area in your house and get on your knees and thank God for waking you up this morning. Thank God for the example of Christ. And let's try to be Christ-like. Maybe a lot of us were more Christ-like, we wouldn't have the chaos and the mental illness that's going on in the Black community. But we try to be like these Negroes and niggettes out here just acting a fool. And if we're not looking at what's going on, if we're not watching the news, especially Black people, how our Black culture is completely crumbling before our eyes. Whether it's Russell Simmons, whether it's Puffy, R. Kelly, our Black culture, what we have adopted or they have given to us as Black culture is completely crumbling before our eyes. And it's exposing to one of the most freakish culture in the last 20 years that we ever saw. To the point that they glamorize pimps and hoes, and sisters is taking pictures that the same poses they used to use on Blacktail magazine because you couldn't be naked on those covers. So women have to do poses. And if you think I'm crazy, just Google Blacktail magazine and look at the poses that the sisters are using in the poses. And you see our women doing that right now. Those are the same poses. When they taking pictures, same poses as the strippers. Come on, man. That's not virtuous women. That's not what they call high value women. But that's on another talk. I'm done. Everybody have a blessed Resurrection Sunday. And remember, drink some tea at least 2-3 times a day, whether it's cold or hot. Get them herbs in your system and have a blacktastic day. And remember, God is in your vegetables. Peace out, y'all.